I actually visited one of my favorite places, 100 Famous Views of Edo, drawn by Hiroshige Ando, and what the scene is like now. The 026 Amor-Hanging Pine in Hakkeizaka Hill on Ikegami-dori near the west exit of JR Omori Station and the scenery beyond it. First, I searched for an old map, but since this area was not Edo at that time, there was only a suburban map. The Tokaido that left Edo Nihonbashi crosses Takanawa Okido, and when you go to the right at Minamishinagawa, ahead of Shinagawa, you will reach Ikegami-dori. I crossed and joined the Nakahara Kaido. The blue line on the map is Tokaido, and the green line is Ikegami Road. As Hiroshige's point of view, I added a red gradation. The big pine tree in the picture was on Ikegami-michi, Hakkeizaka, about halfway between O and Ukiyo-e. Actually, Ikegami-dori is also a steep slope, but it seems that it was steeper at that time. When it rained, it was dug like yagen, which makes medicine, so it seems that it was called Hakkeizaka at first, but when I chose the scenic 8 scenic spots in this area, Hakkeizaka means scenic. It came to be called. Also, according to Kunio Yanagida, there is a theory that it may have come from Hake cliff, which means the edge of the hill. Travelers who've passed through Shinagawa JUKU on the Tokaido and come straight to Tachieigawa and Suzugamori will find a large pine tree on the hill on their right. There are two pine trees. The larger one is 800 years old, about 20 meters high. The branches hang down like a willow, and the trunk is thick enough to hide one cow. The pine then died by the end of the Meiji era, but it seems that the stump could still be seen for a while. Furthermore, in the Taisho era, a house called Shijiki Naka was built in this place, and it seems that the pine trees and the scenery beyond them could not be seen. When Yoshui Hachimantarō, a military commander of the Heian period, was conquering Oshu and headed for the role of Mr. Abe in the war of previous 9 years, he stopped by the Tenso shrine opposite this pine tree to pray for victory. It was this pine that wore hanging armor at that time, so this pine came to be called Amor-Hanging Pine. This old map is quite different in scale and direction, but I forcibly overlaid the modern map. I think you can roughly understand the position and direction. It is a picture of the north-northeast from the front of Omori Station. Hiroshige draws the same place several times. First is the picture book Edo souvenir. Although it is in a horizontal position, it has almost the same composition as the 100 Famous Views of Edo, and the shape of the pine tree and the swing of the branches are almost the same. Shinagawa is not drawn, but the Boso Peninsula is drawn small. Tis Totozaka Zukushi. Here, both pine trees are drawn, making it more realistic. Many people come and go, and Tokaido and Shinagawa JUKU are also drawn. The shape of the pine is quite squiggly, but I'm a little skeptical that it was actually like this. Next, I compared the first print and the second print of Hiroshige's The 100 Famous Views of Edo. The usage of hue and gradation is slightly different. The post-printing is darker overall, more vivid, and more flashy. The last is the evening view of Hakkeizaka, a picture of famous places in Edo. This is drawn very dynamically, and it is drawn quite realistically, such as the state of the tea house, the tourists coming in Keigo, the line below, and the party of the lecture returning from the ceremony Oshiki in Hanmanji Temple. This picture is drawn mainly by people, and the pine tree itself is a gentler way of drawing than others, so it may have been like this in reality. Now let's take a closer look at the picture from above. First, the sky occupies nearly half the area, and large pine trees appear. As described, you can clearly see the situation where the pine trees are hanging down. Boso can be seen beyond Edo Bay, and Mount Tsukuba is drawn beyond that. below that is the cityscape of Edo. Furthermore, the peninsula that juts out into the sea below becomes Shinagawa Juku. In Edo Bay, there are several boats with white sails and several boats on the right. A blackish pine forest is drawn on the beach, but this is the Tokaido, and even the traffic of people is drawn. At the tea house on the left, there are people who are resting, people who are chatting on the floor, 2 travelers, a trainer and a horse, 2 groups of tourists who came on Nakahara, like Hiroshige, at that time. People's lives are depicted. In the yellow lowland on the right, a small figure of a person riding a kago and a person walking is drawn. This seems to be around the current Hakkeizaka. From the bottom of the cliff, there are 2 people who are climbing right now, but these are the ones who are climbing from the east side to the west side of the current Omori Station. There is also one person who climbs the slope from the direction of Honmin-yi Temple and heads for Shinagawa. The yellow roof at the bottom is like a tea house, but considering the appearance of the trees, it may be that the Tenso shrine in front of it was drawn. Well, I actually went to this place. This is a picture taken from the entrance of Tenso Shrine. At that time, I guess I could see from here to Boso. This is a photo of Ikegami-dori and Oi. This is a photo of Ikegami-dori and Ikegami. It is the west exit of Omori Station seen through Ikegami Street. This is the Tenso Shrine opposite the station, where Yoshui Hachimantarō prayed for victory. This is the direction of Hiroshige's point of view as seen from the side of the approach to Tenso Shrine. I tried to fit modern photographs into Hiroshige's paintings. The vestiges of those days are not wonderful. There are various buildings such as the station on the cliffside at that time, so it can't be helped.